Welcome to another Cup of Joe. I'm your host, Joe Tumalo, CEO of PG Partner, here once again with my wonderful friends and guests and super smart fundraising people, Jenny Kleintop and her husband, Doug Kleintop. How did you guys meet? I never asked you that.
We met at
Wow,
Cal
that's a
State
story.
Northridge.
Yeah.
He was doing sports marketing, and I was playing soccer. And we met there.
At where? I'm sorry.
Cal State Northridge.
Yeah, Cal State University Northridge. Yeah.
University of North Carolina. Really? What, Doug?
Well,
What were you
California
doing?
State University Northridge. Very different CSU system, UC system
Oh,
in
true.
California.
I guess I said it
Yeah.
wrong. Yes.
But in the state of California?
In the state of California. Yeah, in the San Fernando Valley, right? Los Angeles County.
I didn't know you were. I know, Jenny, I knew you were from there. I didn't know, Doug, you were there.
Yeah, I was there for a few years. Yep.
Because there's a California something in Pennsylvania, right? California State something in.
There's California, whatever. California is something in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure what the exact name is, but yeah.
Anyhow, so what were we talking about? You were doing such a good job of development, fundraising outside of the development office, but within the organization.
Yeah, I think it's how do we help others in the organization understand what we do, what their role can be in the development process. And oftentimes we're just thinking about, okay, let's make sure that those in the development office are involved, but there's a lot of individuals throughout the organization that would benefit from being involved as well.
Okay, so I guess, does it depend, Jenny, on the sector, if it's a hospital versus a college versus a social service organization?
I think sometimes it does, but a lot of times the relationships are similar across industries. And it's just building that culture of bringing them into your circle and not just going to them when you need something, but helping them actually be a positive, healthy cross-division partner where it's a give and take. So you just want to bring them into your fold. So for example, finance is a big one, right? For development, we need them. They need us to push gifts to them, but we need to inform them. And so oftentimes when I'm working with an organization, reconciliation is a big deal. There are always difference in how we report. And so I create a healthy conversation where let's pick up the phone, let's talk, let's bring them into our circle and say, this is what we need from a fundraising. What do you need from a finance? And then bridge that gap. And I literally had a finance person sit on my database training 2 weeks ago because we built such a positive relationship. And she's like, I just want to understand more what you do in development. And that's a good example of bringing someone into your fold.
Nice. Now in Plan Giving, we always talk about involving the finance office for, like you said, counseling versus accounting gifts. How about for independent school or a college?
Yeah.
Involving admissions? Is that
Absolutely
appropriate? Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I think about, whether it's involving your admissions office, in higher education, your career center, your student life. I mean, these are all the areas that benefit from financial support. And so we want to be able to have strong relationships with those areas. So one, we understand what some of their needs are. And when we're having conversations with donors, we can communicate what some of those areas of need might be. But then also they're the ones who are oftentimes seeing the impact of the gifts at work. And so they're able to tell you just what a gift is doing and the impacts it's having. And then we're in a position to either share that story ourselves with the donor or to connect the donor with that individual and allow them to hear it directly. So they are so important in how we do our work and really helping us be able to connect the donors with the areas that they're most passionate about and with the people who are most knowledgeable about those areas.
Now, in like a hospital. Sorry, Jenny. Sorry.
I was going to say that's where a lot of our data feeds come from is admissions area. And they also, folks in admissions, career center, people working directly with those students have those relationships. So they're often like ambassadors or influencers for the development side to help build that relationship to see if they're grateful to want to give back.
Now, how about, we hear this a lot, people say, well, yeah, if it's college or hospital, we're in the admission side or the fee for services side is 95% of our revenue. You guys are maybe 5% of our revenue. Why am I spending my time? No offense, but do your thing. I've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I think, we recognize that, in higher education, so much of the revenue does come from tuition. But oftentimes what we can provide revenue to do things that maybe the budget doesn't cover. So for whether it's going to doing certain types of research or going to specific types of conferences, giving students the opportunity to have internship experiences, study abroad experiences, those things aren't covered by the budget, but they are covered through philanthropy. And so there is a recognition that while we may not cover most of what the budget is, that we are able to provide funding for experiences that otherwise would not be possible.
And that's great for a lot of things outside of this topic we're talking about, right? I often hear people say, how could you be a fundraiser at Harvard University or Princeton University when they're endowments? Maybe that's another CupoJoe topic. But even a college, right? I'm sure you get people, Doug, that say, I spent all that money on tuition and now you want money. Or at the hospital, I just got my bill. I have insurance, but $2,500 wasn't covered. Now you want a donation?
Yeah, I mean,
So
there are things that we hear, and we just have to be able to tell them about what philanthropy does do, that maybe tuition doesn't cover. And there's a lot of great stories to be able to share around that.
Good
And
stuff.
I would just add, just take out the bias. A lot of times when I'm dealing with the data and I say, let's bring everybody in and then put them into buckets to see how to approach them. And people have these biases. Well, they're young, or they have a lot of debt, and they take people out. And I'm like, you got to give them the opportunity to opt out. You don't want to opt out for them because they could have had a really meaningful interaction with you and want to give back.
I think a famous person once said, don't make decisions for your donors.
Oh my gosh.
That's good.
Wow. I was just going to say that. Thank you. Just like
Said
we
by
rehearsed.
Joe
Well
Tupelo.
done.
That's right. Exactly.
That's
Thank you, John. That's awesome. Good stuff, as always. So, big takeaways here. The hard part.
I think it's involve those around your organization, inform them about how they can be part of the process. Jenny said earlier, everybody that works for your organization is an ambassador, right? They are coming in contact with people daily. People ask, where do you work? Tell them where you work, tell them what you do, and see if they may be somebody that's interested in learning more or potentially supporting your organization.
Wonderful. Anything you want to add to that, Jen?
No, that was well said.
Good job. How can folks get in touch with you all?
For me, I'm all over LinkedIn, so you can reach me at Kleintops there. I also have a newsletter you can subscribe to, and you can also look me up at my website at philanthropyops.com.
And Doug?
For me, best way, email me, doug@individualgiving.com. Always looking forward to talking with other organizations about individual giving strategies or talking with folks about stories across higher education and how we can certainly be collaborative and help each other out.
Beautiful. Thank you as always.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.